Yeah, I get it. This is a week old, but there are so many trade rumors and discussions to go about the Montreal Canadiens that it would be impossible for us to go out there and cover everything the second it comes out. Heck, we made a video a few weeks ago. Was it a few weeks ago? I forgot. It was sometime in the past week and a bit. Talking about Jeff Petrie and John Klingberg, and how that trade idea is absolutely bollocks. It's crazy because the caliber of talent is so different between those two players that the video we made earlier in, let's just say January, because I don't really know, it would be crazy. And then after that video was made, we had ourselves Pierre LeBrun on TSN, who yesterday spoke about the exact same idea. Klingberg and Petrie being a Klingberg replacement. And because it was discussed again, we might have to make another video about it, or maybe I can just leave up the old one. My opinions haven't really changed, so maybe we're not going to go ahead and make a video about it. But that's just an example of how crazy and how plentiful the Montreal Canadiens trade rumor mill has been churning material out. And this one is indeed from a week ago. This article on the Fourth Period, David Pagnotta's website, is from January 25th. And you take a look at what the title says, Lehkonen and Drouin attracting interest. Now, we did indeed make a few videos. Was it just one? I don't really know if it was a few. But we made at least one talking about Artturi Lehkonen, and that video, I believe, was the New York Rangers, whether or not they were poking around there asking the Canadiens about this player. But Jonathan Drouin is a name that has also entered the trade rumor sphere, and we haven't really discussed his name too much, so that's kind of why this is the first in who knows how many videos we're going to make about this guy. But still, let's go over the situation first before we dive into any rumors right here. Jonathan Drouin, 26 years old, 6 feet 203, left-wing center player, making $5.5 million till the end of the 2023 season. Now, this year, he does have a modified no-trade clause. So, should this guy get traded anywhere, there is some form of control that Drouin does have in the situation. He's going to be turning 27 at the end of March, and for the most part, Drouin has been one of the more polarizing Canadiens forwards the past few years. It's actually kind of funny because he has played more time in Montreal than he has played in Tampa Bay at this point, but we're all kind of familiar with the idea that Jonathan Drouin's best year statistically did indeed happen with the Tampa Bay Lightning. He had 53 points in 73 games played in his last year over there and 20 goals before he got traded for Mikhail Sergachev. Ever since then, he has never hit 20 goals in a season, and he has not eclipsed 53 points in a year. He tied 53 points in 2018-19, but he did that in 81 games. This year, though, Drouin, sidelined with an injury, he's got 20 points in 32 games, 6 goals, 14 assists. Do the math on the point production right here, 20 divided by 32, multiplied out by 82. He's on pace for 51 points, which would sort of be pretty okay. I mean, it would be just under his Montreal high of 18-19's 53 points in 81 games played. But still, Jonathan Drouin at his best is a playmaking, dynamic offensive forward who kind of lost his goal-scoring touch over the years, unfortunately speaking. He's a lot more of a playmaker, a guy who can set up really nice passes to the opposite side, but there have been consistency issues that have sort of plagued Drouin in the past, and it's taken him out of the game in more ways than one. We all kind of remember that last season when the Canadiens went to the finals, he didn't even play. Like, he sat out the entire time, citing a few personal development issues he had to go through, which is his call. He definitely does have the right to do that, and it's probably a lot better for him that he did. It's just an example as to how available Jonathan Drouin has been here and there. There have been injury concerns. Everybody's coming in and out of the lineup right now in Montreal, so it's not really the most consistent thing right here. But we still do have a versatile playmaking winger that the Canadiens have that is making a pretty okay amount of money for the amount of points that he does have. Take a look at the Fourth Period article right here. The New York Rangers, Minnesota Wild, Calgary Flames are reportedly interested in Lehkonen, while the Nashville Predators are among the teams believed to be linked to Drouin. To this point in the season, Drouin has registered 6 goals and 14 assists for 20 points, while Lehkonen has tallied 5 goals and 10 assists for 15 points in 38 games. So there you go. There's kind of the benchmark of when this article was written versus where we are today. But Jonathan Drouin and interest from the Predators. It's kind of funny because the last video on this channel was also talking about the Nashville Predators. I didn't really think I'd be making 2 videos in a row about the same Nashville team, albeit in very different circumstances. Yesterday, we spoke about them because they kind of just dominated the Vancouver Canucks. Today, we're talking about them because of trade rumors. Now, the Predators, as we have noted in a few videos already, I think it was the Matthew Tkachuk video specifically where we talked about this, they're a team that has a lot of cap space. They have a lot of money to burn, and it's kind of funny because this is a team that even with the amount of cap space they have, they're still second in the Central Division. They've got 60 points in 46 games played, a huge lead over all the teams that are not in the wild card right now. So Nashville is pretty much a lock, and based off of how they played yesterday, how much I saw this team play against my Vancouver Canucks squad, they're a very cohesive unit. They've got guys that know how to score. They've got defenders that know how to defend. They've got goaltenders who know how to goaltend. This is a very well-rounded, dynamic team that just has itself scoring at every level. You have yourselves those Philip Forsberg-like guys, the top guys on your team, that can OV one-time it on the face-off circle. You have guys like Ryan Johansson at the top of your lineup too, who can snipe it in from different angles. You also have guys like Tanner Jeannot, who are going out there leading the entire rookie class in goals because he's fetching rebounds, because he's going in there digging for pucks, because he's fighting guys. You have yourselves so many aspects to the game that Nashville really does excel at, that if you want to go out there and say that what we need next is a versatile playmaking winger who can play throughout our lineup, he can play top line minutes, he can play middle 6 minutes, he can play third line minutes if we want, he'll probably be on a power play, and he'll probably provide a much needed diversified playmaking side to the rest of our lineup, Jonathan Drouin could very well be that guy. And so, if you want to go out there and say that Drouin should get traded to Nashville, I personally think it would be great for this guy because he missed out on the Stanley Cup final run last year. Send him to a playoff team. Send him to a team that is projected to being better than most in the playoffs this year. And maybe see if Jonathan Drouin has himself what it takes to do well in a big playoff run, because we didn't see that last year, and I feel bad for the guy because he missed out on that entire experience. So having him go over to a team like Nashville that is probably going to be a contender, I think he could actually have a very good impact with this team, and I think the team could have a very good impact with him mentally. It's just, what exactly is the price? Drouin right now is technically injured, so he's not really going to be worth too much at the moment, but based off the quality of work he has had this season, he is roughly a 50-point winger right now. And that's a pretty interesting feat, considering the fact that he's playing on the Montreal Canadiens, who suck. So, is this a first-round caliber guy? Is this a top prospect and a second-round caliber guy? Is this a Mikhail Sergachev caliber guy? Maybe you can get a draft pick in the first round from Nashville that ends up being like, I don't know, 20-somethings overall, because the Predators are a pretty good team. They're probably going to go pretty far in the playoffs. Maybe the Canadiens go out there and use that 20-somethings overall pick to draft a player of the caliber of a Mikhail Sergachev. It's not going to be easy, but it's possible, especially with a brand new director of player development, scouting staff, and all that they have behind the helm. You have a new GM in Kent Hughes, so new guys making decisions. It's not the same old scouting staff, drafting core that the Canadiens have had in the past, so who knows if there is somewhat of a change there. But either way, talk to me in the comments section below. What would you want from the Nashville Predators if you are a Canadiens fan? They have all their draft picks in the 2022 draft except for their 6th. They also do have an extra 3rd. As we noted, they have a boatload of cap space, so I don't really think there needs to be any money balancing going on here. They could just trade for Drouin straight up and it's going to work out on their roster because they're so versatile in that respect. But either way, if you're a Canadiens fan, what would you want from the Predators for Jonathan Drouin that you would realistically say yes to? And if you are a Nashville Predators fan, first off, yeah, I know, you guys kind of beat us up yesterday. The Vancouver Canucks fan in me is trying to claw and etch its way forward, trying to start a conflict. But either way, talk to me in the comments if Drouin is indeed the guy you guys want. What do you give up? Is it a first? You guys have your first? Is it 2 firsts? You guys have 2 firsts? Is it a first and a second? Is it just a second? Is it a top prospect in the second? Let me know in the comments all your thoughts about Jonathan Drouin and what you would realistically give up for this guy if you are indeed a Predators fan. But I hope you enjoyed this video, Charles 99, and bye.